did you just kick my camera? You had it under my fucking phone. No, I didn't have it under your fucking skull at all. You just kicked it on my fucking dick. Literally my fucking dick. That's what you did. Did you really want to fucking show my dick? That's what you wanted? I have a fucking dick, bitch. The fuck? Literally, a fucking dick. You literally showed my fucking dick, you fucking bitch. You just fucking showed my dick. That's not fucking funny. Like, at all. And you fucking expect me to show my fucking hand. Like, ew, you fucking bitch. Ew, you're fucking gross. Exactly. Why the fuck did that bitch show my dick in the camera?
This is exactly why a lot of people are up against trans people, and the bathroom bill has passed, and why a lot of people don't support trans women using female toilets and female facilities. Because in the past, we had so many women who knowingly that trans women are different than biological women, they were still like supporting them. And but then until this type of people started using those privileges, then we started getting in trouble. And unfortunately, it's the good ones that gets in trouble, not the ones who are actually culprits like these. I'm not trying to attack any trans woman out there and saying, "Oh, you don't deserve to be in female toilet. You're not." I'm not saying that you're less than any other woman out there, because for me, what counts is what's in your mind, how you perceive yourself, and all. But as long as you're being a good citizen as well, as long as you're considering what other person's going through, also, not just like being selfish and thinking about what's suitable for you, and you know, to heck with the world. So I don't like those type of people. And in trans community, because we are minority, we need to be careful how we present ourselves, especially on social media, especially on places where people can judge us on the basis of that, and people can feel threatened by us, especially in private places like these, like female toilets and stuff. How can you do that? It doesn't. You don't have to be in female toilets for that. You can be in any toilet, like male toilet or any toilet. Why would you do that? Why would you take your camera over there? Why would you take your camera on any sensitive places where something which is called data protection? Like, why would you do that? And why would you not um respect their privacy and respect their private space? Seriously, you have to be accountable for it, especially like if you're a trans person, because people will judge you and they will try to attack another trans person on basis of how you are presenting the whole community. And you may not intentionally try to present the whole community, but most people will have that idea that just because one trans has done this, and now rest of them will be secretly like these, like perverts. And it's so embarrassing even to tell people that I'm not like that, I'm different than that, because that automatically puts me in a position where I'm trying to say, oh, I'm better than them. Why I have to be put in that position where I have to define myself to be better than someone else who is exactly like myself? You know, if people are just being nice, especially when they are in minority, if they have any sort of minority status, you have to act correctly. You have to be responsible how you act, how you behave, because one mistake and people will judge the rest of you with the same eyes. And unfortunately, that's how world goes. I'm not saying you have to not commit any sin at all, and you have to be all poised and all that. But all I'm saying is there are limits to things, and you have to be considerate. This is unacceptable. This gives bad name to people like me, people out there who are just trying to pass, trying to live their life, trying to live discreetly, or trying to live with peace with other people, and now they have to define, or even if people know about those people that they are not, bad people, but then they have to define your behavior to other people, because they will ask, oh, you are so good, then why are these people doing stuff like this? And what can you say? How can you define or justify someone else's action? You can't. I know people are individual and they should be judged as individually, but most people don't take it that way.
Going to talk about Nicola Sturgeon turning into a transphobic bigot.
Yep.
She refuses to put this Isla Graham into a women's prison where she belongs with her penis.
Yes, exactly.
She's got a penis and it belongs in a women's prison.
Exactly.
Why Nicola Sturgeon is refusing her right and an opportunity to be there and do her thing, do what she's best at.
Exactly.
Sexually assaulting women.
Yes.
Okay, guys. First of all, this is a sarcasm, just to let you know. Obviously, they are mocking those people who try to, go in female prisons and then claim all sort of privileges and benefits like women, but then they refuse to act like one. It's for those people. It's not intentionally to target rest of the trans people who are not doing anything bad. First of all, if you are in prison, you have done obviously something wrong. That's why you're in prison. And talking about privileges in prison, I'm like, seriously, are you still? I'm surprised. Like in this country or in Western countries, people still have privileges in prisons, because in most other countries, which these people really show their support for, they don't provide any sort of facilities in their prison for trans people, including any hormone treatment or anything like that, So they're lucky to be in prison in these countries as well, where they can at least get their hormones and health check and food and cleanliness. But when we are privileged, it's hardly to notice how other people live, right?
Women, I should say, right? Because trans women are women. But for some reason, Francis, they've decided not to put her in a women's prison, which I think is bigotry. And
it is. It's transphobic.
It's transphobic.
If trans women are women, and that is the blanket statement.
Well, it's a fact.
Yeah, well, it's a fact.
It's a biological fact.
A biological fact.
I mean, it's not, because we've all done GCSE biology, but...
Shut your mouth.
Okay. Again, sarcasm, but we all know, most trans women know, we are not biological women, and we are, of course, we are women in our head. Most of us know it from very early age, who we are, how we are, and it's always difficult question how to convince other people that this is what we are and this is what we think about ourselves. And but people will have all sort of ideas. That's fine, but one thing I can definitely make sure and can prove that I'm not a biological woman, and unfortunately, I mean, I wish I was, but I'm not. So yeah. Just let's put it aside, okay?
Trans women are women.
Well said. Strong argument.
Exactly. Which is basically what the argument is. It is shut your mouth, trans women are women.
Correct.
So, that being the case, Isla, God bless her, facial tattooed.
She does seem blessed by God.
Yeah.
In more ways than one.
Exactly. Sex offender self.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, let's not hold that against her.
Yeah, that is true.
I mean, she's just a rapist.
Yeah.
Right?
A double rapist.
Double rapist.
Yeah.
Right? I mean,
Okay. So anyone who has done sexual offenses and in prison, regardless of their, gender identity, I would say that person, if it is proven and if it is like a, not just like a minor crime or something, it's actual sexual offense, then that person, I don't think that I would not forgive any person like that, because this is like a trauma. You're giving somebody trauma for the rest of their life, not just the physical harm, but the trauma for the rest of their life. And it's filthy. It's just horrendous. And how could one person who decides to change their gender regardless of who they are, whether they have genuine transsexual feelings or whether they are just doing it whether they are just some men who are doing it to prevent themselves from being in male prison because female prison seems to be for them a little bit more easier, I guess. Whoever they are, if they have committed sexual offenses, I don't think they should be allowed in female prison. They should be allowed to have those type of privileges because prison time supposed to be where you can learn and reflect on what you have done rather than going on a vacation where you can have 3 times meal, where you can be looked after, where you can have females next door to you so you can do all sort of perving and other things that you can do in prison with them. They don't deserve to be in that female prison. I don't think so, especially like sexual offenders. No matter what type of sexual offenders you are, like identification wise, you should be in male prison. And yeah, that I don't agree with any sexual offenders to be in female prison. That's not fair.
Who hasn't been there?
Exactly.
I mean, not most of us, but you know what I mean.
I mean, we were in an industry where actually.
Yeah. I mean, quite a lot of them about.
Yeah.
But no, you see, my point is, I'm sure it's the fault of the heteronormative cis patriarchy.
Exactly.
That this woman
yeah.
had to resort to sexually assaulting other women with her penis.
No, but actually, what's very interesting is that.
I mean, if this is one thing, okay, one thing I would find it difficult to understand because as a pre-op trans woman, and I'm not into women, by the way, okay, I'm into men. My preference into men, not women. But just because my preference is into men, I'm not going to be forcing myself upon men. So I don't expect the trans people who are into women should be forcing themselves upon women at all. And I don't think anybody, like normal people don't do it, obviously, I'm not talking about, again, I'm trying to say to all of you guys who are going to take offense if you're a trans person, don't take offense. I'm not trying to attack any trans person out there, just saying that talk against those people who do it because by being quiet, you are making it difficult for people to understand that there are some good ones out there who are up against this. We're not all like this, and it's very small percentage of people who commit crime, and they should be treated as individual. But if you are staying quiet, which means you're confirming the doubt of the other people that these type of people are not uncommon. So make sure you raise your voice and at least support those who are raising their voice against this type of stuff, because this will not give bad name to your community. It actually is going to help your community and help gap the bridge between two communities, like because there's a vast type of segregation between cisgender people and trans people, but there is no such thing like that. So make sure you actually talk about it.
Assaulted, they raped women as a man,
right?
And then because they were suffering from gender dysphoria,
and well, it's toxic masculinity made them a sexual offender.
Yeah.
And then gender dysphoria kicked in.
It's particularly when they were in court.
Yeah.
And suddenly they saw the courtroom and then they just had a big dose of gender dysphoria.
I mean, it does seem to trigger it, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. And all of a sudden, Adam became Isla, and he was just, no.
First of all, gender dysphoria is not an excuse for committing any sort of crime, okay? Second of all, I don't know how court system or judiciary system buy this stuff. If somebody's actually trans before committing a crime, then I can still say, oh yeah, it's still like they deserve to be in, prison, and if they are a sexual offender, again, they shouldn't be going in female prison. But especially like a man who committed a crime as a man, And then once they get caught and bring to justice, and then they start transitioning so that, they can get lesser punishment or something, that shouldn't be allowed. I mean, they can transition whatever they want, but they shouldn't be allowed in female prison. That's not a green card to go in, female prison. That shouldn't be like that. I think the crime is increasing these days because of these type of laws and these type of human rights. There are human rights only for those people who are committing crime, but no human rights for those who are being a victim of those crimes. Actually, that's what that's what the system needs to do. They need to change, because empathy is good, but too much empathy makes an oppressor even more of a oppressor, more of like a dictator, basically.
Bad.
She,
wrong.
Yes, identified as a woman,
Yeah.
and as a result could not be put in a male prison.
Yeah, and in fact, one of the I think the lawyer defending her said that if we accept that she is transitioning, that goes a long way towards vindicating her of the crime of rape.
Exactly.
But
how is that justified? I don't know who buys into this, but whichever court of law is buying into this, or whichever woman or trans woman or person tried to make this excuse and support this type of excuse, I think there's something definitely wrong with their brain. Because how can you choose a comfort of someone on top of safety or other person? A comfort is a different stuff. It's completely different level than safety. Safety comes first. And if a person commits a crime, if they're, especially like the crime is proven, if they're going to jail for it, then how can you think of their comfort over the safety of those women who are going to suffer because of this person? I have no word for this.
By the way, I do actually have to say, I think Nadeem Zahawi is Mr. Trick here.
Yeah.
Because like we just talked about, at the moment you face some kind of penalty, the gender dysphoria can kick in. I'm sure he experienced it.
Yeah.
He probably stuffed it down because of his internalized transphobia. Yeah. But he had come out as trans. I do think that would have given him a better opportunity to defend himself against the allegations.
Yeah.
Come on, Nadia, stop pretending to be Nadeem.
The prison population figures from June also predated the transfer of Katie Dolotowski to Cornton Vale from male accommodation at Pullman Young Offenders Institute.
The convicted sex offender who was born male was moved after beating a male inmate. So, wait, Anton, just hide this for a second. So what?
Wow. So the person who's going to female prison is capable of even beating male prisoners. Wow.
Did I read that right? Right. So Katie Dolotowski was moved from male accommodation to female accommodation, despite being a convicted sex offender. And the reason that she was moved was that she beat a man in a prison.
Yeah.
So this is a convicted sex offender who was born male, beat a man in a male prison. And the solution to that problem was?
To put him amongst women.
Honestly, this makes me laugh as well. Now, those of you who think my political ideology is sketchy, it's not about my political ideology, and that's why I get confused. Which side am I on? Because, like if I think about, I can't be far left or far right either. And I just think, any normal person can find fault into this. Whether I was trans, whether I'm not trans, a wrong thing is a wrong thing for me. Like, how can not these people who are so educated, position of powers like judges, lawyers, system, judiciary, police commissioners, officers, cannot see this, cannot recognize it? It's a blatant excuse and blatant lie to get easy punishment, basically. It's not even a punishment then. So what's the point of punishment? A punishment should be where people can learn from their mistake, reflect from it, right? Or are you just punishing someone to just keeping them locked to stay away from that person so they don't harm any more people? But even by that logic, if they're putting them amongst women, how are you protecting them from harming any other people then? So is that actually a punishment for that person?
If trans women are women, then the only solution,
Well, and we know they are.
and we know they are,
Always.
then obviously the only solution when a trans woman commits a crime
Yeah.
is to put them in a women's prison.
No. You put them in a male prison, and when they establish that they are particularly violent and capable of beating up a man,
Yeah,
that's when you put them in a women's prison.
exactly.
When did this idea come from? Like trans women are women. You know, like philosophically, it's okay, I guess, because it's nice because it comes from a place of compassion where women or trans women say, oh, yes, you are a woman. I mean, plenty of my friends who when I told them about that I'm trans and stuff, and they used to tell me that, no, don't tell other people, just keep it to yourself. You are a woman. You are a woman. Oh my God, you are a woman. You just think like a woman. You are like a woman. You are a woman. We hear these words, but that doesn't make us a biological woman. Their social experience is different. Their body obviously functions differently for obvious reasons, for biological reasons. And our body works differently. People who transition after their teenage and stuff, then you go through the whole male puberty and you have different experiences. And not just that, but biologically, our body is made differently. So even when we transition, it suppresses hormones. It makes our body function differently. For example, if you have a PlayStation, okay, you can play either games on PlayStation. You can also play. It's like a DVD player as well, so you can play a DVD in there as well and watch it. Uh, it's like a multi-function, but it's not made only to watch the DVD. That's a PlayStation, right? That's what we are as trans people. But a DVD player will be specifically for DVD. So the function will be specific to DVD only. So nothing else, just a DVD. Biological women. So we are that PlayStation, like our body is different. We can play, uh, a DVD. So we can have some women characteristics, but we are not entirely women because there are plenty of things that we have to make sure to look like them. It's a constant chase. If you're confident in yourself, it will be easy for you to understand, to accept yourself, to understand what's different in you. Of course, I believe that yes, gender dysphoria is real. Yes, people have different experiences. People don't just transition for, fun purposes. There are obviously real reasons for it. There is a psychology for it. There is science behind it. So yes, you are backed with science that yes, trans women are not just like men who are dressing up as women. They have different sort of mindset, and our brain works differently. That's why, and brain is what makes us who we are actually. So a lot of spiritual people, if you heard them saying, they do say, I have a soul of a woman in a male's body. That's an easy way to describe it. But a lot of people don't understand the concept of soul and stuff. So that will be completely different debate. If somebody makes a sexual offense, they don't deserve to be in female prison. They don't deserve to be near female orchids. I will be scared of the people who have committed any, sexual offenses, even if they are trans people. I will be scared of them. So you can imagine why wouldn't women would be scared of it? I know female prisoners have also done something wrong. That's why they're in prison. But at least in prison, they should be protected from sexual violence, putting people who are still pre-op, still like in, female prison, whether they are being on hormones recently or whatever, and they have been prisoner, especially like sexual offenses prisoner, how is it safe? How is it justified?
Sure,
Yeah.
first of all, that she's capable of exerting physical violence.
Yeah.
Then you put her
Yeah.
where she belongs,
In a women's prison.
with vulnerable women.
Exactly. That's progress.
Not all women in prison are vulnerable and dainty, very soft and petite creatures. Prison culture is different. Some of them, women are stronger, obviously. They're much stronger as well. And some of them are also like equally as violent, can be as violent because of all sort of crimes they have committed before coming into prison. But still, that doesn't justify for a trans woman who has done sexual offenses or something like that to be in female prison. It doesn't justify it. I don't know why activists saying it, or some activists still stay quiet on these topics when they are very loudmouth about, trans rights and trans women are women, trans women are this and that. I think for people, it's so easy to accept you if you know the definition of right and wrong, and if you're in line with the societal right and wrong, especially in terms of when you're violating somebody else's rights and you are harming them, because you transitioning to yourself is not harming other people, but you transitioning to yourself and then going out to harm other people, that's the wrong thing. So if you are just a good person doing good deeds, whether you're transitioning or not, whether you're gay, LGBTQ, whatever you are, you'll be fine. Whether people will accept you or not, that still will be irrelevant. But people who know you as a person, if you come across as a nice person, they will still recognize it and respect you for that. Most people will respect you for that. I'm sure there are still some people. There will still be some people who will not accept you, who will still say you're an abomination to God, you're this and that. There are all sort of people like that who will never be happy with you, who will never be happy with themselves either. So there are plenty of people like that who don't mind their own business but poke their noses into other people's businesses. But if you just do your best to be a good human, good citizen, I guess, then you don't give any justification to those people who use those excuses against you and to justify their hatred. Rather than fueling the fuel, you need to make sure you do things correctly and don't take advantage of the system, because then it will impact on all of us in future.
That is progress.
And if you don't like it, we're going to put you in prison for fucking hate speech, mate.
Exactly.
Should violent sex offenders who beat up men be put in women's prisons?
And assault women.
And assault women. I mean, should they be in a woman's prison?
I mean, it's like I said.
I'm sure he'll be like Brexit, mate.
Yeah, it will be. 52-48.
Castration seems to be high on the list for some people in the
Really?
chat. Yeah.
Well, I mean, that is part of the transition. So is that wrong?
I mean, EBL prefers the wood chipper.
Really?
Why don't we talk about the story? And they said, we don't have an LGBTQ person on the panel, so we can't talk about it.
Yeah, and quite right. Because you're only... Well,
Take me. I would love to talk about it.
why do you want women talking about this?
I mean, talking about anything, really.
Oh, mate, they're just going to bang on, mate. Do you know what I mean?
What do you think, guys? Denying the fact will give more chances to people to talk about you and against you. Accepting your reality is the only wise decision you can make, because that way you wouldn't leave anything for people, because people will concentrate on taboo subjects more than, random mundane subjects. Once trans community and trans subject becomes mundane subject rather than a taboo subject, then people will find it normative to understand you. So make sure don't demand people to call you certain way or to, you know, treat you certain way. Show them how to do it by giving them that respect, by proving with your behavior, by doing good deeds, by being good citizen, and by just providing that shelter to, every person who comes in contact with you, and so that they feel safe while they are with you. Trans people had this sort of wall in front of them. I don't know whether it's because of the bullies or whether it is because of societal pressures they go throughout their life. They create this wall between them and the other people, and it's always like them and other people. And when I was a child, I never wanted to. I was so scared to even ask a trans person like why they transition and who they are, and any question like that. I was so scared for it because I hardly saw a trans person who was walking away on daily basis and smiling at somebody like that. Maybe because of their experiences, but we have to do this effort, guys. You have to prove your your goodness to people, and it's not that hard to prove it. All you need to do is be good citizen, good human being, be helpful to others. And I'm not saying be good to those people who do you wrong. Don't do that. But at least don't be a bitch to others. That's all I can say. And by accepting yourself, by admitting that yes, you were made differently, yes, you have something different in your mind, yes, it doesn't match with societal norm, but I am human. All I'm asking is let me live the way I want to live. And I'm not going to harm you. I promise I'm not going to harm you. All I want to do is live the way I want to live. And, I just want to live happily. And I'm not doing it for any, you know, anything for like to get a kink out of it, to, attack on other people and their rights. I'm doing it because I just want to live my life peacefully. And that's why I chose not to use female toilets, because even before any Supreme Court ruling or anything like that, because for me, morally, I never thought it would have been better to use female toilet, because I knew there was obviously someone who will disagree with me and they will have a higher ground, because it's, after all, made because of, not because of gender, but because of sexes. The toilets were made for sexes, not for genders, for sexes, because of their sex organs are different and they require different type of, obviously, toilets. And you can use one type of toilet, but our body functions differently. Like in female toilets, you do know that there are like extra bins for pads and stuff, and then male toilets, they have like, standing places where they can stand and pee and stuff. So it's made differently, guys, because body functions differently, isn't it? So just admit it that yes, we are different. I'm not asking you guys to go to male toilets to be so nice that you need to lay down on the floor and just, let people run over you. I'm not saying that. All I'm saying is be sensible. If there are any accessible toilets or single sex toilets, use those ones instead. If it is possible, use those ones instead. Don't put your life at risk. Don't be that like Buddha, that you put other people first before you. Don't do that as well. But don't take advantage out of situation. When you have been given privilege to use accessible toilet or use a single sex toilet, use them. It's less hassle for you, less hassle for anyone else. Unless if you're so passable that nobody can notice you, I don't know, like, people can still do it. But especially like if you know that you struggle passing, there is something different about, like, people will definitely catch you when you use a wrong toilet or use wrong facility. Then make sure to, safeguard yourself as well. Like if you're not thinking about other people, at least think about yourself, that people will see you and there will be drama. So to avoid that, just use the right one. And I mean, accessible one or single sex one, if there is any available. And just try to minimize the chaos. Anyway, be safe, guys. Be responsible and happy transitioning. Bye.